morning. This is a video about the what is this thing called? The Comm GP-5/SSB FM stereo medium wave shortwave DSP receiver. This is something I picked up at a Goodwill. I got it for an extremely good price. They're still sold online by the company. They are asking an astronomical price for really what this is, I guess. They want $90, $89.95. I think you can get them, or actually one like them, from Amazon, though it will lack certain features that this one has. So first let's go over what comes in the box. Although I have the box, I'm not going to show the actual box. Nobody cares. I don't have the actual packaging. It comes with a carrying case which has a belt loop that can be used horizontally or vertically. It comes with a terrible operations manual. It's not written in Chinglish, but it does lack a lot of information, and it's just terribly written. It came with a set of earbuds. These appear to have been used by someone, it looks like. So I won't be sticking those in my ears. It comes with a detachable bar antenna. We'll go over that in a little bit. It comes with a clip-on shortwave antenna. This clips on here like so, and then you just stretch this out in any orientation you want. I don't know the length of it. I'll look it up if it says somewhere. So, let's go over this real quick. This antenna is approximately, we'll call it 2 1/4-ish inches. The antenna can actually be disassembled. If you remove these pieces, they're kind of bayonet mounted, and then you can carefully separate this, and the antenna is in there. You could theoretically put your own antenna in this, and it would just stick out the side. It's my understanding that there are other aftermarket antennas that are bigger. The website that sells these says that if you use one, you're likely to break the antenna socket, and that would void the warranty. Well, I hate to tell you this, but even with this thing in here, if you bump this hard, you'll break this socket. But anyways, this is quite the interesting radio. Let's see if we can zoom in here. Stop wobbling. Okay. As you can see, it has you can tell the temperature. It's in the off mode right now. When it's off, you press the display mode, it will show you when the alarm is set, and it just switches between that. Any button press while this is off or on will turn on the backlight. The only exception to that is moving the volume. That doesn't do anything. Okay. This thing gets its power from 3 AA batteries, or you can put in 3 rechargeable nickel metal hydride or nickel cadmium batteries. You can use any USB charging cable of this type to power or charge the device. If you have NiCad or nickel metal hydride batteries in it, you need to press and hold the battery so that it says what type of battery it has. If you have regular alkaline, you press it again and it removes that, and so it won't charge alkaline batteries. This thing has a built-in antenna for FM and shortwave, and the tuning is done mostly by this wheel. There's no keypad to enter frequencies with, and that is a big drawback to this thing. So you turn it on, let me get this.
And also he got entangled in scandal over accusations.
So you can see here that it shows you signal strength and signal to noise ratio. There's two ways to use this. You can scan through the dial like this, or you can use programmed memories.
The multimeter. GP-5 late.
Charges, and with our affordable payment plans, it's easier than you think.
And go through
The police made a mistake. Call Lerner Road
a list of channels. Programming this, which by the way is really the best way to use it for AM and FM. For FM, my recommendations are to program this is to push the antenna all the way in and then hold the FM button down. It's not required that you push the antennas all the way in, but if you do that, if you push this antenna in and then you program it, you'll get a lot less garbage stations stored in memory. I tried storing it with the antenna fully extended, or I'm sorry, I tried scanning with the antenna fully extended, and I got about 60 frequencies stored. About 40-ish of them were just static or very strong background, or very weak background signals. So if you push the antenna all the way in, you'll get all the nearby strong signals. You can always scan through and add any others that you want. Once you've got them added, you can just go through the list, and if you find that a frequency you either don't want to listen to or it's static, you just press and hold the delete button, and then when it'll pop up, and well, let's just pick one here, and then you press delete and that will delete it, and you can see it goes from 89.5 to 104. It now skipped that one because it's not in there. If you want to add a frequency, like if I wanted to put that back in, unless you specifically pick the channel or the memory place you want to put it. Come on, there we go. So you hit memory, and it'll pick the first empty one, and you press it again, or you can, when you hit memory, you move the green dial until you get to the one you want, and then you press memory again. moving through the channels is done by pressing the VF-VM button. In VF, I believe it is, it goes through the stations through frequency. Press it again, and it goes through the presets. Really, this is the best way to do this, because once you get them programmed in, trying to go through these frequencies at 10 megahertz or 10 kilohertz or whatever this is at a time is a pain in the butt. AM works the same way. You hit MW. In the case of MW, it doesn't really seem to matter if the antenna is on. I just kind of held it up, put the antenna in an orientation that was mostly aimed at most of the antennas I know of in my area, held the MW down, and let it program. And I think I only had to delete one channel. It didn't find as many bad stations. Let me get it off of this one. And going through the frequencies is the same.
On the AV Prop 360, for managing risk in a traditional investment portfolio. The ego of submount. Just doing a lot.
Shortwave on this is done by pressing, there's no button for shortwave. You either press the up and down arrow of one of these and it changes to a band. It changes, like this is 60, the 60 meter band, 75, 90, 120 meter, 11 meter, 13, 15, 16, 19, 22, 25, 31, 41. You can pick up SSB with this. It's a little difficult because most people who use SSB don't always transmit exactly on a frequency, so expect to get some not quite tuned in conversations. Once you find a frequency, you press and hold, or just press the SSB, and L is for lower, U is for upper. Press it and hold it to take it back to AM. I used this last night to see what I could get. I sat in my living room and I put the antenna up. I didn't connect an external antenna at that time, and I was able to pick up WWV on 10 and 15 megahertz. I was also able to listen to a couple of 40 meter conversations. So one was tuned pretty much spot on, and one or two of them were off by a little bit. They seem to be all on lower sideband. I tuned into the CW section of 40 meter and was able to pick up a couple of CWs, but I think you would get kind of spotty reception on that, because CW is such a narrow bandwidth that unless they were right on one of the frequencies, you wouldn't get it, or you might get multiples. There's no way to narrow this down for CW. Let's see here. also has the ability to pick up long wave. The instructions for how to set this up for long wave are very vague and kind of hidden. Basically what you do is you turn it off and you press this until that says 9, and then you turn it on, go to AM, and now you can tune down to 150 kilohertz. Changing it to 10 kilohertz. Changes the low end to 520. Okay, let's see here. It has a key lock. Just holding this button down will lock the display. Hold it down again to unlock. It has an alarm. I've never tried to use it. Setting the clock is done by powering off, holding the time down, and then using the green knob to change the hours. Pressing time again and change the minutes. Then if you want it to be synchronized to something, understand that you can either hit the time button again to synchronize, or 3 seconds will go by and it will just start, the clock will just start. So it's whichever's first. So you basically have 3 seconds in which to synchronize. What I found was if I wanted to synchronize, I had to sit there and fiddle with the minutes until it got to within 3 seconds of the time I wanted. And then I just moved it to the correct thing, and when 3 seconds went by, the clock started. It has a beat frequency oscillator for SSB. I messed with that a little bit and couldn't notice a difference. Then that might also have something to do with AM in some other countries. AMDX. I took this thing, and once again it was in the living room because I didn't want to have to try and drive out of town to test this, but I was sitting in my living room as far away from anything that makes noise as I could get, and I was able to pick up a radio station in northern Utah, and I'm in Arizona, so you know, if I was picking up a lot of faraway stations, but because radio stations nowadays they don't always give their station ID, or I have to wait an hour for it, and I didn't want to wait an hour on a frequency just to find out what it was. But let's put it this way, at night, and this was an hour after sundown, I was picking up stuff all over the place, very weak stations, far away. And let's see, is there anything else on here? ETM, I forget what that means. Easy tuning mode, and basically what that does is, I think it programs everything for you, just finds all the stations. But I haven't messed with that. Now, this thing was originally sold, or supposedly, according to the website and the information I could find, this was originally purchased by this county Comm, and it was meant to be used in like bomb shelter or emergency cache. You know, if you had some diplomatic place or something, and there was a power failure or whatever, you would have one of these, and it'd be an emergency radio. Basically, either you would, before you put it away, you program all the local stations in it, or, you know, if you just never used it, you put batteries in it, turn it on, and just program whatever is out there, so you can get information. It's not easy to use. It's very tedious to sit here and go through the shortwave frequencies, you know, 10 kilohertz at a time. And I wouldn't want to do that in except maybe in an emergency, and even then, you know, you'd probably use the easy tuning mode or have it scan to find a frequency. But yeah, this is, oh, and it will do stereo. If you turn it on and then you stick a headset in here, it automatically turns on stereo if stereo is available. Or you can just turn it on by I said to long press FM, but if you do that, it's gonna, I just know that if you hook a headset in here, it just turns on stereo if it's a stereo headset. Yeah, once again, I would not pay $90 for this thing. There's a lot of other radios you could get for a lot less money that do almost exactly the same thing, but you can tune them easier, and you have direct entry. This one, a little kludgy to use, and like I said, emergency radio, great for that. Otherwise, later.